Hello everybody, my name is Eric D. Johnson, also known as BrightShine. I live right here in the city of Memphis in the state of Tennessee, the county sheriff. Today's date, early Monday morning, September the 5th, 2016. Here in the United States of America, this is Labor Day holiday at the time 4:55 a.m. First, say thank you all my family, my support for your continued encouragement and support. I'll continue to keep myself employed right here in this Memphis tri-state area. I'll continue to further my education and more work hard online, pursuing my social business, business, great construction. And the music you hear in the background is African hip hop. And we're gonna continue. We're gonna continue to talk about African traditional religion. African traditional religion is being taught. It is being taught at institutions of higher learning, meaning colleges and universities in sub-Saharan Africa. You can earn a bachelor's degree, PhD by studying African traditional religion. Where is sub-Saharan Africa? Well, let's look at a map. This is a language. This is a language distribution map. Language distribution map. And it shows you sub-Saharan Africa. And it also shows you the people that live on the continent of Africa. And it shows you the language that they speak and where they're located. Now that blue color, that's the Afro-Asiatic. The yellow color, that's the Nilo-Saharan. Now the dark orange color, that's the Niger Congo A. You see a little light orange color, that's the Niger Congo B, band 2. Now this is the other half of the other map. And it shows you the color code, the legend on the side there. It shows you that the blue color, that's an Afro-Asiatic. The yellow color is a Nilo-Saharan. The dark orange color is a Niger Congo A. The light orange color is a Niger Congo B, band 2. The green color, two groups of people. The Khoi, the pronunciation of Khoi or Khoi people are the pastoralists. The Sand people are the hunter-gatherers. Now that purple color over there on the island of Madagascar, that purple lavender looking color, excuse me, that's the Austronesians. Who are the Austronesians? The Austronesians are the people that live in Indonesia. The people that live in Indonesia, they left Indonesia, migrated, and settled on the island of Madagascar and colonized the island of Madagascar. They are not the original inhabitants of the island of Madagascar. There's another this is another map, language distribution map, and it shows you sub-Saharan Africa. This is a Niger Congo map that shows you the language Niger Congo, and it shows you sub-Saharan Africa. Now the Niger Congo languages, the primary branch, the Volta Congo, the South Volta, Bantu, Bantu beside Bantu, your other East Benue Congo, your West Benue Congo, and your Quay, your North Volta, Kru, Sinufo, your Gur Volta languages, your Adamawa Ubangian languages. You have your other primary branches, your Kordofan, your Mandi, your Atlantic. And down here at the bottom, when I copied this map off the computer, off the printer, just a little bit of the bottom got cut off, just the Dogon at the bottom. This is another map that shows you the Niger Congo language. It's the Niger Congo language map. It shows you sub-Saharan Africa. Now your Atlantic branch, Wolof, Fule, and not listed here is Sira. Your Mandi, Bambari, Mandinka, Dayule, and not mentioned Capelli, Kru, Gur, Moor language, Quay language, Bali, Akan, and Iwa, your Dogon, your Ajoy, your Adamawa, Ubangi, Jibaye, Banda, and Zandi, your Kordofanians, your non-Bantoid, your Ruwa and Igbo, your Bantoid, Fang, Tiki, Lingale, Mungo and Kundu, Congo, Choki, Lube, Luganda, Rwanda, Burundi, Sukume, Kikuyu, your Bantu, Swahili, Makawe, Inyanje, Bembe, Shone, Tisange, Northern Soto, Zulu, Southern Soto, Kosa, Tiswane, Indange, Umbundu, and there are many other Niger Congo speaking people that are not listed on this map, but they're Niger Congo speaking people. Before we get to our reading, again, want to encourage each and every person whose ancestor, Niger Congo, or you're a descendant of Niger Congo, to get in contact with the Niger Congo in sub-Saharan Africa and inform them about the street gang in Chicago, Illinois, the drug gang in Chicago, Illinois, the street gang in Los Angeles, California, the drug gang in Los Angeles, California. And one of the things that can help you in your explanation is, for instance, the television network Black Entertainment TV, or BET for short. They did a series of programs that they titled American Gangster. American Gangster. That's what they titled. And there can be a way to help you explain what it is you're talking about. Because one thing you don't never do is don't never assume that a person And not, there's Niger Congo and living in sub-Saharan Africa, know what it is you're talking about. And if put yourself in their shoes and someone trying to explain to you, you'll be like, I don't know what you're talking. See, so there are things that you can use to understand, to help the Niger Congo understand what it is you're talking about. There are YouTube videos with these street gangs. They're making these YouTube videos, and that can be a big help in explaining to the Niger Congo what it is you're talking about. Such as another thing that can be used that can be help, gangster rap. People be saying, what, gangster rap music and the lyrics. Call yourself a thug and call yourself a player and boss and a hoodlum and you a pimp and you a hoe and prostitutes and things of this nature that people that think that stuff is bad, but they're actually walk around and refer to themselves as something of that nature. I'm a G. You know, so and like we were talking about yesterday, uh, uh, some of this entertainment like movies and music and things of that nature, like The Godfather 1, 2, and 3, uh, Scarface, the movie Scarface. They were selling drugs and shipping drugs and stuff. Uh, 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 um, I was trying. I can't think of this movie. That gummy. There was a movie they did up there in Chicago. That gummy. It was back in the '70s. It was about gangs in Chicago. The miseducation of Eddie. The miseducation of Eddie. Some Eddie somebody. About this little young kid, and they were growing up in Chicago, Illinois. And it was about the street gangs in Chicago, Illinois. You know, but the movie. Remember that movie, New Jack City? I didn't mention the other day, but remember that movie, New Jack City? A drug gang, CMB, Cash Money Boys or Cash Money Billionaire, CMB. They were selling drugs. Remember that movie, Colors? Remember that movie, Colors? About the street gangs in Los Angeles, California. So, there are things like that that can help you explain what it is you're talking about when you talk to the Niger Congo in sub-Saharan Africa. And that I understand, because these are things that need to be addressed because they are a problem. They've been a problem and they continue to be a problem. And those of us, all of us that are descendants of Niger Congo, all of us are not on the continent of Africa. All of us are not living in sub-Saharan Africa. And one of the big reasons is that the East African or Arab slave trade, or the West African or Mid-Atlantic slave trade, many Niger Congo was sent away because of the slave trade. Millions East African or Arab slave trade and the West African or the Mid-Atlantic slave trade, not just to America, but to the slave trade to Mexico, to Central America, South America, the Caribbean, but it's still referred to as West African or the Mid-Atlantic slave trade. And like I said, all of us who are descendants of Niger Congo, our ancestor, Niger Congo. These things that I mentioned can help you to explain what it is that you're trying to say. Don't assume nobody automatically uh, understand what you're saying. Like I say, if it was put yourself in the Niger Congo person that you're talking to or you're in contact with, put yourself in that position and don't assume that they know what you're talking about. So you probably need some help explaining what it is you're talking about. And some of the things I mentioned could help you explain, include myself. Include myself. This YouTube video being left, there's some things that I'm saying that could help the Niger Congo understand what it is you're talking about. So get in contact with the Niger Congo in Sub-Saharan Africa and get them informed about this street gang and this drug gang in Chicago, Illinois, the street gang, the drug gang in Los Angeles, California, the street gang, drug gang, Canada, Mexico, Central America, South America, Caribbean, around Europe, around the world, because it's a problem that needs to be addressed. It's a serious problem. And also, none of these sororities and fraternities of fool anybody, because we know that many other sororities and fraternities today, just like the historically black colleges and universities, and these other sororities and fraternities at these other colleges and universities, they were started by the street gangs and the drug gangs. So again, get in contact with the Niger Congo in Sub-Saharan Africa and get them informed about the street gang, the drug gang in Chicago, Illinois, the street gang, the drug gang in Los Angeles, California, Canada, Mexico, Central America, South America, the Caribbean, in Europe, around the world. Let's get to our reading. We're going to start our reading from the book titled West African Traditional Religion, written by Dr. Joseph Omasede Ewelelu and Dr. P. Adalumo Rupemu. And we're reading from chapter 6, God and Man. 6.1, Man's Origin. We're going to be as conceived by the Igbo. The Igbo name of God, Chiniki, means the spirit that creates. Where Cha stands for spirit, but the personality, soul, or the essence of being is also called Cha. Cha derives directly from the supreme deity, Chiniki or Chokwu. It is God that puts Cha in man. The word Cha also stands for man's guardian angel or double, which is closely connected with Chokwu. The Igbo believe that each person has Cha or spiritual double, which is given to him by God before he comes into the world. It is the Cha that knows all about man's destiny and it accompanies man throughout his life. Man's prosperity or failure depends on the competence of his Cha. It has influence on individuals' fortunes and misfortunes. Any bad things may be ascribed to the Cha's mistake, incompetence, or negligence. Child is an object of worship by the adult. He is usually represented by an oak tree or an ogbu tree planted in the compound or in front of the house. There the person offers occasional worship to his child. When a man is in trouble, he may be instructed to pray to his child, who will then look after and help him, drive away evil spirits, and prevent misfortune from befalling him. C, as conceived by the Idome, God among the Idome of Nigeria is called Oweko, Owoko, Owoko. The Idome believe that Owoko is the author of the essence of being. The essence of being is called Owo from the name Owoko. This shows that Owo, the essence of being or guardian angel, is derived directly from God. Like the Yoruba and Igbo, Idome believe that one is happy or unhappy, rich or poor, fortunate or unfortunate, according to the influence of one's Owo. All will be well with one throughout one's life. Owo is therefore an object of worship, and each person who is an adult strives to keep Owo in peaceful contentment by giving it offerings from time to time. D, as conceived by the Edo. The Edo have a two-sided conception of the essence of man. In the first place, Ohun Wenwon is regarded as the essence of being, or the personality soul. It is this word that is used when a person is said to be lucky, just as the Yoruba Ora is translated luck. In this way, Ohun can make one fortunate or unfortunate, depending on its state. In the second place, the Edo use the word Ihai for the guardian angel or man's double. This concept is found throughout the area covered by Edo land, although it may be modified according to the local variation. Basically, however, the Edo believe that it is Ihai that chooses man's destiny. The way it is chosen is variously told. Some say that the Ihai, which is already an entity, stands by Osanoway, the supreme deity, and man's creation then points to the destiny of what the person should be. Again, it is believed by some people that the Ihai declares the destiny of the person in the middle of an arena where spiritual beings are ready to bully it. If it chooses a good destiny or hail it if it chooses a bad destiny, and yet others say that the Ihai had to declare the destiny in the presence of a spiritual being who threatens it with a raised, gleaming matchet or cutlass. And if the Ihai is brave, it would defy the empty threat and declare a prosperous, happy destiny. But if it is a coward, it will choose an unhappy destiny. Whatever happens, the fact prevails that it is Ihai that chooses or declares the destiny. Man, on getting into the world, forgets all about his destiny. It is Ihai that knows all about the man's destiny, and it follows man throughout life, controlling his destiny. Anything in the life of man, fortune or misfortune, prosperity or adversity, may be ascribed to the work of Ihai or its weakness, since it is believed that it can help or hinder, cause prosperity or adversity. Like Ori and Yoruba land, the cult of Ehi is prevalent throughout Edo land. Offerings must be given to Ehi from time to time so that it may deal with man favorably. It is also believed that when Ehi thinks that it is man on earth is overstaying his time on earth, it applies to Osinowe to let him die so that Ehi may go back to his maker. E is conceived by the Ajo. The personality soul of man's guardian angel is called Oru Bunny among the Ajo. Sometimes Oru Bunny is called Temuno, the name of the supreme deity. When called Temuno, it does not signify the same thing as the supreme being, but it does signify is that Oru Bunny derives from deity. Temuno is that it is only she that can put it in man. When a child is born, a diviner is usually called in to find out all about his Oru Bunny. This is necessary because it is only the Oru Bunny that knows all about the destiny which man comes to fulfill on earth. On the seventh day after a child's birth, a ceremony is performed to dedicate a symbol to Oru Bunny. The symbol, which consists of a small earthen bowl containing black earth, chalk, yellow wood, dye, cocoa nuts, and alligator pepper, is kept on an altar where the ancestral symbols are kept. The diviner officiating the ceremony invokes the protection of the Oru Bunny or Temuno on the child. When a person becomes an adult, he makes offerings to his Oru Bunny so that all may be well with him. And since Oru Bunny knows all about man's destiny, he can help or hinder man. He can make man's life happy or unhappy. The offerings are thus to keep him in a state of contentment and perfect satisfaction. The offerings include fowls, fish, yams, and green plantains. F is conceived by the Nup. The Nup have a concept of man similar in general outline to that of the Yaru. First is the Naka, which is the physical body like the Yaruba A-ray. It is this Neke that houses other human elements. It is subject to natural growth and decomposition after death. Secondly, we have Raya, life, which is the same thing as the Yaruba, Imai. Raya comes from God, and it goes back to God at death. The Nup say that when a person dreams, his Raya wanders about and sees all the things that come to him in the dream. It is further believed that witches feed on Raya. Thirdly, we have the Fafinga, shadow, which has the same sense as the Yaruba, Ojaja. The word means the shadow cast by men, animals, and inanimate objects, but it also has a deeper mystic meaning having to do with human invisible essence, which a person dies. When a person dies, it is believed that his Fafinga goes away from the corpse, but continues to exist. That is why it is possible to see dead men in dreams when people say that they see ghosts of dead. The dead men is usually believed that it is their Fafinga that they have seen. However, the Nup use the word Kusi for the essence of being or the personality soul. But the Kusai, like the Yaruba Ori, can become a semi-split entity and take the form of the guardian angel or double or counterpart. All that is peculiar to man, his appearance, his character, his intellect, his action, comes from his Kusai. It is Kusai that controls human destiny. Kusai, in fact, comes from God, and it is to God that it returns when man finally dies. But the Nup further believe that one's Kusai can be reincarnated after death. That is why when a child is born, the oracle is consulted to find out the ancestor whose Kusai has been reincarnated. Since Kusai knows all about man's destiny and controls it, people enlist its aid and offer sacrifices to it. We have the cult of Kusai all over Nup land. Whenever a man drinks wine, he pours a small libation on the ground for his Kusai. The Kusai is also invoked in the ceremonies surrounding the crucial events of everyday life, like birth, marriage, puberty, and death. The worship of Kusai can take place anytime and anywhere. G, as conceived by the Akan and the Gay. Here again, we have a complex situation because the Akan will talk of the Isu, the Akere or Kray, and the Susun. The Isu provides the physical base of man's life or being. Isu, in this sense, corresponds to man's physical body, which the Yoruba call Are. It is that which provides a temple for all other human elements. Through it, man acts and reacts to his physical environment. At death, it perishes with the decomposition of the physical body. Susun appears to be the human essence or the personality soul. It accounts for the individual appearance and characteristics. It is the Susun that protects man, and man's life depends on its weakness or strength. During sleep, man's Susun wanders about and meets with other Susun. Whatever happens to the Susun during sleep will affect the Isu, the physical body. A husband Susun may affect his wife adversely if she becomes unfaithful. The Susun is volatile. This volatility is seen in the fact that it can move and flit about, leaving its owner during sleep. It is also vulnerable in the sense that it can be injured, captured, or killed during its wandering. This, as we have seen, may bring illness or even death to the owner. Ideally, the Supreme Being is believed to send the Susun into man and assign his destiny. The Akan say the destiny given by God cannot be avoided. Kray, Akre, or Akare is that human essence which exists before man comes into the world. It may be the soul of an ancestor being reincarnated. In Kray, we have the guardian angel or man's double, which has the duty of protecting man, guiding him, and causing prosperity. But it can also cause adversity if man is not in the right with his Kray. Kray is, therefore, sometimes given offerings. People believe that it is Kray that receives human destiny before the supreme deity. The destiny is sealed, and when man comes into the world, it is only Kray that knows all about his destiny, and it stands by him to show him the way. It is believed that Kray leaves a dying man gradually before he breathes his last. When a dying man is gasping or panting violently, people say that his Kray is climbing a hill of the spirit land. This is showing that as Kray comes from God, it must go back to its maker. When man dies and the temple of Kray perishes. H, as conceived by the evil and the phone. The evil and the phone have a conception very similar to those we have already examined. To them, man has physical body, a shadow, a personality soul, and a guardian angel or spiritual double. The material body, as we have it among other West African people, is the perishable part of man which he shares in common with the animal world. Through this material, physical, perishable substance, man acts and reacts to his environment. The shadow is known as Wisegu. It is like the Yaru or Jaja, and it accompanies man during his lifetime. At death, it disappears from the body, but remains in the grave. It is further claimed that this shadow, by remaining in the grave, becomes the soul handed on from an ancestor. It is believed that each living man is a representative of an ancestor who also is his guardian. That is why a child may be seen as a carbon copy of an ancestor. Through this handing over a soul by an ancestor, the union of the dead and the living is perpetually assured. Then we have the Yi. This is the human essence of the personality soul. It is indestructible portion of man. The ego believes that Yi is life, feeling, personality, and it accounts for the individual peculiar qualities. The Yi has the quality of leaving the physical body during sleep and of returning to it at death. The Yi departs from the body. but it does not perish. It goes to the spiritual vault of the ancestor. It may reunite with the shadow in the grave and be reincarnated within the clan. That is why it is believed that every dead member of a clan is replaced by a new living member, and this new member is often regarded as the exact image of the dead member. And finally, there is the sea, or the Semido, or Salido. Sea is man's guardian spirit or dove. It is a portion of Mewu, a name often used for the supreme being. This is not the same being as Mewu Lise, who has been regarded in this book as the arch divinity, himself being an emanation of the great Mewu or Nene Baluku. In fact, Mewu is believed to be the great sea of the world, and in his capacity as the creator of soul, Mewu is called Samido. The evil believe that every living man has a sea, which is his Mewu. Sea has to do with human destiny, and it is the vehicle of the individual fate. Parinda's account gives a full description of sea. The spirit, sea, is possessed by every mortal, together with his other spiritual attributes. It is invisible and cannot know death. It is immutable. It does not follow the course to the grave, but it returns at once to God. If the personality soul with which the spirit has been associated is condemned by God to annihilation on account of evil doing, the spirit will not be destroyed also, but God will give it another being to indwell. The sea is like a protector or conscience, the moral sense of every human being. It is often translated as tutelary spirit, sometimes called our second self, sent by God and derived from God and found in all beings. The spirit is the life or preservation. God sends the soul back to the earth after death of the body, but not the spirit, for if he did both, he would recreate the same person. Because of the duties which the sea owes the individual as the guardian spirit and the bearer of destiny, it is usually an object of worship. Like the Yoruba Ora, the physical symbol of sea is the head. When a man is directed to make offerings to his sea, his head is shaved. A pigeon's or white chicken's blood is allowed to drop on the head, and the feather of a parrot is pasted on it. Friends and relatives are invited to eat at the ceremony, but the ritualized man neither eats nor speaks during the ceremony. He looks or watches with rapt attention. I'm going to stop right there. We've been reading from chapter 6, God and Man, and we've been reading 6:1, Man's Origin. And we've been reading from the book titled West African Traditional Religion, written by Dr. Joseph Obaseda Abalelu and Dr. P. Adalumo Dupegu. We're going to continue our reading from the book titled African Traditional Religion, a definition written by Dr. E. Baloja Adowu. We're reading from chapter 5, the structure of African traditional religion. And we're reading from the belief in God. Dietrich Westerman says, the high God is, as a rule, not the object of a religious cult and is of small or almost no significance in practical religion. People acknowledge him, but neither fear nor love nor serve him. The feeling towards him being at the highest that of a dim awe or reverence. Westerman did his writing at a time when he probably had little access to the proper sources of African beliefs and practice, or when he had little more than a chance opportunity of a fleeting glimpse of a vast continent. Those who have looked more carefully into African traditional religion will easily see this as a sweeping statement which cannot now be taken seriously. Further, he said, he is the God of the thoughtful, not of the crowd, of the people whose mature consideration, personal experience, and primitive philosophy have led them to postulate a central and ultimate power who is the originator of all things and in whose hands the universe is safe. It is in the sayings of these people that sometimes the figure of God assumes features of a truly personal and purely divine supreme being. In saying this and making it apply only to Africa with a depreciating intent, he has only conveniently ignored the whole history of religious doctrines, which shows unmistakably that everywhere, and not only in Africa, with every religion, and not only with African traditional religion, the role of the specialist and the role of the community have always had their lines of demarcation. Although the former does feed, guide, and inform the latter, because Westerman was writing about Africa, he overlooked the established universal fact that we have already pointed out, that in every locality, the seer or the prophet is ahead of his community in idea and in insight. That in every age and generation, the thoughtful prophets, theologians, philosophers, mystics are in the minority. This is not an unshared peculiarity of Africa. Everywhere it is this minority that conceives and brings forth ideas and concepts in systematic form. The rest of the community usually accept and pray and practice faith with little questioning or search for explanations. And it is not a fact of general application that it is the sayings, declaration, or exhortation, written or oral, of these leaders and insight that becomes articles of faith or creeds, which are thus the means of faith and expression. This is a fact which is easily proved if, for example, one stops a housewife or a businessman in a street in London or Paris or Berlin or Geneva or Abadan or Kampala or Nairobi or New York and confronts such a person with a question about God. One will more likely than not receive back a blank look, a confused stuttering, or nervous rudeness as a reply. Confronted with such a question, the generality of persons anywhere else on earth will fare no better than a generality of Africans. The appearance of certain recent publications under the species cover of what is called neo-theology constitutes a message about how much confusion there is in the minds of the generality of the peoples of the Western world with regard to the concept of God. Honest to God by Dr. John Robinson, with the debates with it stirred up in a case in point, whatever may be the merit or demerit of that book and others like it, they at least show unmistakably that with regard to this great subject, things are not what they seem on the surface. There should be no doubt now that the majority of the peoples of the Western world, in spite of the Bible and various versions and books which are available, copiously are devoid of any clear, unequivocal concept of God. Excuse me. Westerman's statement that the African God is a do incertus and a do remotus There is always an atmosphere of indefiniteness about him. He trades careless thinking, to say the least. First, there is no being like the African god except in the imagination of those who use the term. Be they Africans or Europeans, as we have already observed, there is only one God. And while there may be various concepts of God according to each people's spiritual perception, it is wrong to limit God with an adjective form for the name of any race. Secondly, the answer that we have already given above to the depreciating inclination that dictates certain conclusions about the African concept of God applies only to the do incertus and the do remotus. Do incertus will apply in a sense everywhere in the world because of the inevitable fact of the do abscondatus, hidden God, which must be accepted as man's predicament in his approach to the mystery of the sacred and the transcendent, while do remotus is another way of saying do otitus, otiosus, or a withdrawn God, which, as we have seen, is an intellectual or imaginative reading in and which unqualified is most inappropriate. And here again, we had a deistic idea in the European mind palmed off on Africa. The incertus or remotus notion is one that is ever recurring in anthropological writings. S.F. Nadal, for example, said with reference to the new belief that nothing very definite can be said or is known about God. If he had said this as a fact of general application, it would have been proper, limited to Africa. It is improper, and as we have seen under Revelation, it is not true that in Africa nothing very definite can be said or known about God. Man knows as much as is given to him to know, and he expresses his belief accordingly. One finds it difficult not to suspect intellectual dishonesty in those who write about religion in Africa. In this vein, because there is evidence that there are those of them who must have been acquainted with the problem of epistemology with particular reference to religion. The alpha and omega of a pagan's belief is, my will be done. This is just too much. We have already seen that the word pagan should not be applied to Africans because of their belief. Paganism is unsuitable as a descriptive name for African traditional religion. With regard to my will be done, Westerman is confusing religion with magic, whereas although the two commingle, they should not be confused. It would seem that our author is here betraying the fact that he has taken mere appearance for reality and has not been well acquainted with what actually is the situation of things. In stating what the actual situation is, we should use what obtained among the Yoruba as an illustration. Admittedly, the objective petitionary character of Yoruba prayers shows that the fulfillment of man's desires rather than the will of deity is their ease. My will be done, rather than thy will be done. But that is because all the time the Yoruba are basing prayer on the fundamental notion that the will of deity is supreme anyway, and that his will is the ultimate answer to their prayers. We'll notice that their AC, may it be sanctified, may it be sanctified, or may it come to pass, is an affirmation of their belief that nothing happens unless he permits it. This is a point at which we need carefully to distinguish between religion and magic, and therefore between prayers and incantations. The Yaruda presents his petitions. The very word shows the attitude of mind which accompanies the prayer, not with the attitude of one who is bringing divine power under control for his own benefit, but as one who asks for a favor, the granting of which he knows depends entirely upon the will and pleasure of his determiner of destiny. I'm gonna stop right there. We've been reading from chapter 5, the structure of African traditional religion, belief in God. And we've been reading from the book titled African Traditional Religion, a Definition, written by Dr. E. Baloja Adowu. We're going to continue our reading from the book titled African Religions and Philosophy, written by Dr. John S. M. Beaver. We're reading from number 17, the concepts of evil, ethics, and justice. We're going to be reading restitution and punishment. B. Restitution and punishment. The majority of African peoples believe that God punishes in this life. Thus, he is concerned with the moral life of mankind and therefore upholds the moral law. With a few exceptions, there is no belief that a person is punished in a hereafter for what he does wrong in this life. When punishment comes, it comes in the present life. For that reason, misfortunes may be interpreted as indicating that the sufferer has broken some moral or ritual conduct against God, the spirits, the elders, or other members of his society. This does not contradict the belief that misfortunes are the work of some members, especially workers of magic, sorcery, and witchcraft against their fellow men. This village logic is quite normal in African thinking. I do not understand it, but I accept it. The Banyarwanda and Burundi and Burundi express God's punitive acts in a proverb that God exercises vengeance in silence. The Nuer links sickness with the fault that lies behind it, and therefore sacrifice in order to stay the punitive consequence. In the one case, the emphasis is on the actions from which one looks forward to the sickness, which, when it comes, is identified with them. In the other case, the emphasis is on the sickness, and one looks backwards from it to faults which might have brought it about. Even if one makes no attempt to discover what they were, The same might be said about many other African peoples. Each community or society has its own set form of restitution and punishment for various offenses, both legal and moral. These range from death for offenses like practicing sorcery and witchcraft, committing murder and adultery, to paying fines of cattle, sheep, or money for minor cases like accidental injury to one's companion or when sheep escape and eat potato vines in a neighbor's field. It is generally the elders of the area who deal with disputes and breaches arising from various types of moral harm or offenses against custom and ritual. Traditional chiefs and rulers, where these exist, have the duty of keeping law and order and executing justice in their areas. Nowadays, there are governmental law courts. Excuse. Nowadays, there are governmental law courts, some of which make use of the services of the elders and incorporate something from the traditional customary law. There is one form of justice administered through the use of the curse. The basic principle here is that if a person is guilty, evil will befall him and according to the words used in cursing him. By the use of good magic, it is believed a person can curse an unknown thief or other offender, but most of the curses are within family circles. The operative principle is that only a person of a higher status can effectively curse one of a lower status, but not vice versa. The most feared curses are those pronounced by parents, uncles, aunts, or other close relatives against their juniors in the family. The worst is the curse uttered at the deathbed. For once the pronouncer of the curse has died, it is practically impossible to revoke it. If the guilty person repents and asks for the curse to be lifted, the person who uttered it can revoke it either automatically or ritually, if it is a very serious one. There are many stories in African villages telling about the fulfillment of curses where a person is guilty. If one is not guilty, then the curse does not function. Formal curses are feared much in African society, and this fear, like that of witchcraft, helps to check bad relationships, especially in family circles. Formal oaths are used as another method of establishing and maintaining good human relationships. There are oaths which binds people mystically together, the best known being the one which creates what is rather loosely referred to as blood brotherhood. By means of this oath, two people who are not immediately related go through a ritual which often involves exchanging small amounts of their blood by drinking or rubbing it into each other's body. After that, they look upon each other as real blood brothers or sisters and will behave in that capacity towards each other for the rest of their lives. Their families are also involved in this brotherly contract so that, for example, their children will not intermarry. This oath places great moral and mystical obligation upon the parties concerned, and any breach of the covenant is dreaded and feared to bring about misfortunes. There are oaths taken when people join the so-called secret societies, when they are initiated in the rites of passage or in professions like divination. Other oaths are taken when secret information is divulged to guard some knowledge or other secrets. Oaths may also be taken by children before the death of their parents if the latter want very much that their children observe certain instructions or carry out important requests. Oaths range in seriousness. Some are meant to bring about death if they are broken. Others cause temporary pain or misfortunes. of one type or another. The belief behind oaths is that God, or some power higher than the individual man, will punish the person who breaks the requirements of the oath or covenant. Like curses, oaths are feared, and many are administered ritually and at great expense. I'm going to stop right there. We've been reading from the book titled African Religions and Philosophy, written by Dr. John S.M.B. And we were reading from chapter 17, the concepts of evil, ethics, and justice. And we read B, restitution and punishment. We're going to continue our reading from the book titled Concepts of God in Africa, written by Dr. John S.M.B. We're going to continue reading from part 4, God and Man. And we read worship, sacrifices, and offerings. The Barosi, make a daily offering to God by placing a wooden plate full of water in the cattle shed after morning. It's shed every morning. This is done by the oldest member of the household, who kneels down facing east and makes a salutation invocation. The Burundai believe that their hero, Karenge, acts as the intermediary between them and God. To Karenge, they make sacrifices, but if he fails to help them, then they turn to God. The Basoge have, in addition to God, a few divinities to whom they sacrifice and make offerings. To the divinity of death, they sacrifice black cows, goats, sheep, and fowls. To the female divinity that helps in private sickness, they sacrifice cows and sheep and offer beer. To God, the Creator, for whom there are many shrines, the people sacrifice chickens which are killed in front of the shrines. The Babinde hold yearly ceremonies in which black oxen are sacrificed, and a special messenger offers a black ox and a black cloth to God. The ox is set free in the forest so that it would join the wild animals which form the herd of God. This is done at the place of revelation, in the Matobe Hills, where God is said to have revealed himself in a big flame above the sacred cave. The beer make food offerings to God, placing them at the roots of certain trees. The Batuwe, sacrifice to the living dead. This is done by the elders who hold monthly rites in which the priest sacrifices black dogs and offers guinea corn beer in a sacred cave, followed by a ritual feasting of the group. At intervals of 3 to 5 years, there are rites connected with initiation and sowing periods, during which the people make sacrifice of black goats and pray to God. The blood of the goats is gathered in a huge pot and placed at the foot of a sacred tree. On the first day of the ceremony, hens are sacrificed and prayers offered at the sacred grove. On the second day, 2 bulls are sacrificed. On the third day, the women are given their portion of the sacrificial meat and return home. The men remain at the sacred grove and eat their meat there. Afterwards, they also go home and join the women and children in a festival of dancing and singing. The Chaga sacrifice to God only in times of great distress at rare intervals, but they make many sacrifices to their living dead in the spirits. The Chawe make occasional sacrifice to God, but generally through the living dead who act as intermediary. The family head officiates for household sacrifices, and the senior priest for each area officiates at the public sacrifice at the end of the harvest period. Possibly these public sacrifices are directed to God. The Dinka seem to lead a life occupied with the making of sacrifice. They consider every event or occasion as suitable for sacrifice. For them, every bull or ox is destined ultimately for sacrifice. Each beast represents the community of the people present at a sacrifice. Though their eating of the flesh is not a communion meal, animal sacrifice is the central religious act of the Dinka, whose cattle are in their eyes perfect victims. They consider cattle to be gifts from God and to belong ultimately to Him. Before an animal is sacrificed, the Dinka announce to it the important and necessary purpose for which it is victimized, and they compensate the animal for its death by naming the next child after it, thus preserving its memory. They give names to their cattle, and before the sacrifice is made, the people address the animal by name, making invocations. The Durume sacrifice black or red sheep and bullocks, possibly directed to the living dead and the spirits of the departed. On important occasions, they pray to God, but it is not clear whether or not they may sacrifice them as well. We're going to stop right there. We've been reading from the book titled Concepts of God in Africa, written by Dr. John S. M. Beebe. Part 4. We've been reading from Part 4, God and Man. And we will read from number 16, worship, sacrifice, and offerings. So we end today's video. We're going to continue to work on our language. Our being specific, our Niger Congo language, because we as whose ancestors, Niger Congo, we as descendants of Niger Congo, we need to continue to preserve the culture and custom of the Niger Congo. We need to make sure we respect the culture and custom of the Niger Congo. The Peace Corps in the African nation of Mali, and they have you know the Peace Corps, the United States of America, uh, government agency, the Peace Corps. They go all around the world to promote peace. Now also the Foreign Service Institute. What is that? The Foreign Service Institute are the diplomats, ambassadors who go all around the world on behalf of the United States government to promote diplomacy. And so you can refer to the Peace Corps or to the Foreign Service Institute, and you can learn to speak the language of the people in various countries. So in Sub-Saharan Africa, the Peace Corps go to all these different countries in Sub-Saharan Africa, and they had these courses and lessons and audios and videos that you can refer to learn to speak the native language. And in the African nation Mali, the Bambari language, which is a Mandi language, like such as Mandinka, Diule. Bambari is a Mandi language, and Kapeli is a Mandi language. Like I said, the Peace Corps has courses and ebooks. They have 13 audios that you can refer to learn Bambari. The African nation Burkina Faso. African nation Burkina Faso. The Peace Corps has courses. They have ebooks. They have 21 more audios, 21 more audios, more language audios that you can refer to. The African nation Senegal. The African nation Senegal. The Peace Corps has they have courses, they have ebooks, and they have 27 Wolof, 27 Wolof audios, 27 Wolof audios that you can refer to. the African nation of Gambia. The African nation of Gambia, Peace Corps. They have courses, they have ebooks, they have 25 Mandinka audio, 25 Mandinka audio that you can refer to. Now, when we talk about the Peace Corps, the Foreign Service Institute, when we talk about African nations in sub-Saharan Africa, there are some African nations, such as Guinea-Bissau, the official language is Portuguese, and the African nation of Liberia and Nigeria, the official language is English. But you can still find some type of Peace Corps language, manual or audio or something for the native people. The African nation of Cameroon, official language English and French. The African nation of Central African Republic, the official language is French and Sango. Now, some African nations, there may be some political instability. It could be a civil war. The Peace Corps nor the Foreign Service can be in the country because it's not safe. And such like things in nature. The African nation of Equatorial Guinea and the African nation of Gabon, both those nations, the official, the native people speak the Fang language, which is a Niger-Congo language. But the official language of these countries could be English, could be French, most likely French and English, or Portuguese, Spanish, such as African nation, Angola, Mozambique. The official language is Portuguese. So when you refer to these countries, the Peace Corps could be there, and you may or may not find the native language that the people speak, because the official language is English. Zimbabwe is another country. The official language is English, but they have recognized languages such as Shona and other languages in the surrounding area. Okay, where we left out, Gambia. Okay, we're going to the African nation of Guinea. The African nation of Guinea, the official language of the people speak Fulani. And there are courses, ebooks, 52 Fulani audios that you can refer to. African nation of Sierra Leone. There's a PDF that you can refer to on the Timni language. There's a PDF that you can refer to, and you can study the Timni language. the African nation of Liberia. The African nation of Liberia. There's a PDF that you can refer to. It's a compelling and reference handbook of phonetics, grammar, lexicon, and learning procedures. And it's the U.S. Department of Education National Institute of Education Educational Resource Information Center, ERIC. It's a PDF. You can refer to that and you can study the compelling language. Now, the Peace Corps is in the African nation Ivory Coast. The Akan tweet. There are lessons that you can refer to, and there are 45 audios that you can listen to, and you can study the Akan tweet language. Now, the Peace Corps is in the African nation of Ghana. The African nation of Ghana. And you can find Ashanti, the Ashanti language, Ashanti tweet. And there's courses, ebooks, and there are 19 tweet audios. The African nation of Togo, they speak the Igbo language. There are courses, ebooks, and 104 Igbo audios. Now, the Peace Corps is in the African nation of Benin, and they speak the phone language. Now, there are courses and ebooks on the phone language that you can refer to. African nation Nigeria. African nation Nigeria. And you can find Igbo course, ebook that you can refer to, that you can study the Igbo language. Well, you can, like I said, you can either refer to the Peace Corps or the Foreign Service Institute. Now, the Republic of Congo, there are two Congos. There are two. The Republic of Congo and the Democratic Republic of Congo. Now, the Republic of Congo, you can refer to the Peace Corps or the Foreign Service Institute. Now, this one is the Foreign Service Institute. Now, there's a lesson that you can refer to, and it has 564 free audio Katube, 564 audio Foreign Service Institute that you can refer to, Katube. Peace Corps has lesson and courses, e-courses, e-books and things that you refer to. The Democratic Republic of Congo, Democratic Republic of Congo, Lingale, Lingale, Lingale. African nation Rwanda, African nation Rwanda. The people, Banya Wanda, who are the Banya Wanda, Hutu, Tutsi, and Twe. You can refer to a trainee Kenya Wanda book, Rwanda, that you can refer to as a PDF. You can refer to, you can study on your Kenya Wanda. The African nation Burundi. You see, that's another one of those countries where, like Rwanda and Burundi, the official language is not only the native language. The official language is French. And so when the Peace Corps or the Foreign Service Institute, they go to a country where not only the native language, but it's a European language. That's the official language. So that's the language that Peace Corps and Foreign Service Institute that they speak to people in Rwanda and Burundi. And who are the people that live in Burundi? The people that live in Burundi are the Hutu, the Tutsi, and the Twe. The African nation of Malawi. The African nation of Malawi, the Peace Corps or the Foreign Service Institute. The Peace Corps do have courses and ebooks, and they have 17 Chiwa audios, and also there's Chinyanje and Inyanje uh, from Malawi. The African nation of Uganda, the official language is Kiswahili, but the people are Buganda. The Buganda people, they speak Luganda. And the Peace Corps, they do have courses and ebooks, and they have 12 Luganda audio, 12 Luganda audio. The African nation of Kenya, the official language is Kiswahili. The majority of the people that live in Kenya are Kikuyu. I couldn't find any Kikuyu, Peace Corps or Foreign Service, but the Peace Corps do have Kiswahili course and ebooks that you can refer to. Now, the African nation of Tanzania, the majority of the people that live in the African nation of Tanzania are Sukume. The official language of the African nation of Tanzania is Kiswahili. Couldn't find any Sukume, Peace Corps, Foreign Service, but the Peace Corps, Foreign Service, they do have Kiswahili for you to refer to. The African nation of Zambia, the African nation of Zambia, Bimbe, the Bimbe language. There's a lesson that you can refer to and where you can learn to speak the Bimbe language. There's a pretty good manual there. Say hello, Shana, Shani, how are you? Yuli Kose, how are you? Plural or respect, Muli Shani. You can refer to the Bimbe, Zambia. Now, the Peace Corps, I couldn't find the Peace Corps on the Shonay language, but I did. The Foreign Service Institute, they do have Shonay courses, and that you can refer to in your study, and they have courses, and they have Foreign Service Institute got an ebook, and the Foreign Service Institute also has 35 Shonay audios, 35 Shonay audios that you can refer to. And that's the African nation of Zimbabwe. Zimbabwe. So now we're going to go to the African nation of Botswana. African nation, Botswana, Peace Corps does have, they have courses, they have ebooks, they have 25 Setswana audio and 18 Setswana videos that you can refer to. Now, the African nation. Now, first of all, where is it located? When you know what South Africa is at, you know the African nation South Africa. In South Africa, there are two kingdoms, Swaziland and Lesotho. Now, the kingdom of Swaziland, they speak Siswati. Now, the people that speak Siswati in Swaziland. Now, the Peace Corps has courses, they have ebooks, and they have 9 Siswati audios that you can refer to. Okay, there the Peace Corps, they have the Kingdom of Lesotho. The Peace Corps do have courses that you can refer to on Sesotho. There are courses and ebooks that you can refer to. And there's also a PDF that you can refer to. It's a PDF that you can refer to. It's a beginner's tutorial in Sesotho. And when you look for it, you'll see it. It's Puo Ea Sichabe. It's a beginner's tutorial in Sesotho for Peace Corps volunteers. It's a PDF. Now, Peace Corps, they have an introduction to Zulu language. It's a PDF. Uh, like greetings, Sana Bonani, Sane Bonani. Uh, how are you? Singular. Umjani. The Peace Corps, African Nation, Namibia. African Nation, Namibia. There's a beginner's guide to Ocean Dungay, Ocean and Dungay, Ocean and Dungay, African nation of Namibia. Let me see, just refer you right quick. Ongani, Ongani, Ongani. Say hello. Ocean Dungay, you say hello. Ongani, Ongati, Ongaipa. Excuse my pronunciation or mispronunciation. That's all. You can also refer to the Peace Corps or the Foreign Service Institute, the African nation of Namibia, Oshi Kwanyame, Oshi Kwanyame, Oshi Kwanyame. I'm going to get ready to end today's video. Again, my name is Eric D. Johnson, also known as BrightShine. I live right here in the city of Memphis. It's in this tri-state, in the state of Tennessee and County Ship. And I thank all my fans, my support for your continued encouragement and support. I continue to work on my entertainment and music interests. And until my next video, you take care of yourself, which each and every one of you very best.